Good afternoon, all, and welcome to a live stream and also through Zoom session with myself, Dante St. James. It was a bit of a meta business masterclass. We're going to look at various ways. Now, feel free to have your video off if you like, because this will be live streamed as it is. So you may not want to have your face all over LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So feel free to hide those faces, even change your names if you need to, just before we really go live into the rest of the internet. It's going to be a really not as interactive a session as I was hoping for, because unfortunately, when you use Microsoft PowerPoint, I'm used to using Canva. PowerPoint takes over all your screens and you can't see anything else. So I won't be able to answer too many questions. But what we will do is open up questions to our Zoom attendees at the end. I unfortunately won't be able to answer questions online on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and wherever else I'm going. There's it's everywhere right now this afternoon. And welcome also to EntrepreneurFest 2022. This is one of the day one activities we'll be doing, and it's all about trying to get a little bit more out of your meta stuff, a little bit out of Meta Business Suite. We're going to look at things like the shopping abilities of Meta Business Suite, and then also look at things like Reels and messaging as ways to increase your business presence when it comes to all these tools. Now let's just make sure I'm going to do a little bit of sound check. Obviously you can hear me because I'm not having anyone yelling at me in the comments saying I can't hear you. So that's a very good start so far on a Monday. I'm going to share my screen, get the presentation underway, and we'll get started just so we can stay relatively on time and keep you from keep you getting on to the rest of your day as well. So let's play from the start. Share the screen. You can do this, Dante. You know you can do it. Um, Admit some more people from the waiting room. We've got quite a few people coming in to join us today, and it's got to. God, this is so hard using systems that don't really want to work together very well. Let's get it going. So that one down, nearly there. Share the screen, and we are off and running. Not that one though. So now everything's in the way. That's what happens when you try to do too many things all at once. Something is going to fall down at some point. Okay, play from the start. Now, just going to make sure you are on the right screen, which I believe you probably aren't. So let me just try that screen share again. My apologies for this. This is usually a lot more smooth than this, but I guess I'm streaming on 5 different places, so it's going to make it a little bit more difficult to get through. Just going to try and share that screen now. So share screen. Here we go for our miracle. Desktop 2. Oh, it's looking good now. Fantastic. So hi everyone and welcome. It's been really good to thank you for your patience as we got all that online as well. As I entered in the very beginning, my name's Dante St. James. I'm a Meta Community Trainer, digital advisor with the Australian Small Business Advisory Services Digital Solutions Program, and an entrepreneurship facilitator with Workforce Australia's self-employment services in the Darwin region. Why am I in Darwin? Hey, why not? This time of the year though, it gets so hot and so humid. There's times when I wish I could just take a little flight down south every day just to get a little bit of a little bit of relief, because it certainly is not our most pleasant time of the year right now. What we're going to cover this afternoon is a little bit about small business insights. We're going to look at the meta tools in practice, so we can actually look inside those tools, so you can get a better idea of how to use them and how to get the most out of them. That's the hope, at least. We're going to raise awareness of your business on Facebook and Instagram, and use a Q&A at the end, really to give you a bit of an idea, especially just the folks that are joining on Zoom this afternoon, rather than those who are on the various other live streaming partners. You'll be able to join in the Q&A as well. So first, I'd like to share a few insights and trends for small business that we've noticed at Meta, things that really make it so that we have noticed that there's been changes. There's been a couple of years that things have gone a little bit weird, and this year we thought, well, things are up and things just got a little bit weirder. Well, small business and customers are really using e-commerce with abandon. Now, I know that the drop off of e-commerce over the last few months, particularly as the tech companies struggle to keep up with everybody they're trying to to keep up with. There certainly been some changes when it comes to the use, I guess, of e-commerce. I know that Amazon's seen a drop in usage as we've gone back to shops, and I think it all comes when we've got that ability to go back out to shopping centers again and go out with our friends and not have to be covered in masks all the time. That we tend to feel a bit more free to not just go and do things in online shopping environments, but to get back in person, go to food courts and have a bit of KFC and get out there and try on something new, and see what T2's got on offer and see what Kmart's got going on apart from on their website. We're also seeing too that people are engaging with video content more than they ever have. And again, this year it might have dropped a little bit from the previous couple of years simply because we have so many different options to stream with now. I know that Netflix I turn off every so often now because I tend to get a lot more value out of things like Disney Plus or Paramount Plus when I use those, depending on which shows happen to be on at the time. We're also going to look at how customers using business messaging to better engage with the customers they've got and to better engage with the businesses they want to get in touch with. We're always seeing these three key trends, and this kind of been consistent over the last 2 years as we've seen both e-commerce, messaging, and I guess the video content really take front and center when it comes to what we're doing. First, we're going to take a look at the e-commerce side of it. And e-commerce requires a little bit of a different way of looking at things when you think of how to do it online. Because in the Facebook and Instagram world, you can see e-commerce coming up with the ability to be able to put a shop on Facebook and Instagram, to insert shop now links, which will go directly into your store, linking through to your Shopify site, your BigCommerce site, or various other platforms that you want to be part of. WooCommerce is another one that's in there. And if you do have those facilities, you would have noticed, I guess, that over in America right now that the Meta users are able to set up those shops and have people check out without ever having to leave Facebook or Instagram. We don't have that quite yet. Our banking laws don't quite match up with that kind of thing, and it would require that Meta became a financial institution here in Australia, which is a little harder here than what it is in America. So we're sort of holding off on that for now. But it does allow us to do things like swipe up messages on stories and to be able to insert shoppable things into shoppable ads within areas right across Facebook, Instagram, and even Messenger, which is what you see on that last example there. What we have noticed though is shopping habits have fundamentally changed. And if you're a small business selling products rather than services, this may be very, very useful for you to know. Once upon a time, going shopping was an event. It was something that we did as a matter of routine. I remember we used to go Thursday night, late night shopping to the local Westfield. Back then it was called Miranda Fair in Sydney. And we'd go and have something, a takeaway dinner for the four of us. And then we go into Franklin's No Frills supermarket or the Woolworths, or we go to the Woolworths Family Centre, and which was what Big W used to be called. And it was always it was a bit of an event to go shopping. We even had to get a little bit dressed up, not in suits and ties, but we certainly dressed our best because that's where we're going to run into a lot of people who we normally wouldn't run into in everyday life who may know us. The change now is that we're always shopping. Shopping is not an event. Shopping is not something we specifically set up to go and do. It's something which we do every day and we're constantly doing it. I know that Instagram for me has sometimes I've had to close it simply because there's too many things that come up that I want to buy, especially when it's software or services or conference tickets, things like that. Always something coming up that's really, really very look, I find it very delightful, the shopping experience, to be honest, because it's something which comes up that's very relevant to me. There's not a lot of things I'm going to ever see which are not related to what my tastes are. But all this choice, all these options, all these abilities to choose whoever you want to shop with, however you want to shop with, has created a bit of a paralysis of analysis, where it paralyzed the amount of choices we've got. So it means that we need to create some kind of personalized experiences that make it a lot easier to happen. Because you would think, you could be looking for a chocolate chip cookie, you'd pull out your cookbooks, you'd find one that suited your taste, but now you've got access to every different chocolate cookie recipe that's ever made and a whole range of chocolate cookies that are available from lots of different supermarkets. It wasn't just a choice of one or making itself. Now there's literally hundreds of choices with it. So we use personalization to make that a little bit of an easier thing. Now, E-commerce is all about people going looking for products. Discovery commerce is what we're seeing on a lot of the networks like Meta. We see it on other places like we're seeing it in places like TikTok, Pinterest are all working on e-commerce within their platforms. We find that products now finding people. So with discovery commerce, businesses go beyond that traditional marketing, not just meeting the customer's needs, but kind of anticipating them ahead of time and predicting them, if you like. And there's a lot of that's done through, the Meta Ads platform, which allows you to do that. Now, e-commerce is one place to go. Video is a whole other place to go. Video has absolutely boomed. And this is without saying anything about, things like Instagram Reels. Just in Facebook Watch, we have 9 million people in Australia coming to watch it every month. So video consumption on Meta has gone through the roof over the last couple of years. And it hasn't had quite the big dip that a lot of the other platforms have had. In fact, it's continued to grow each month. And just like TikTok has, Instagram Reels has, the watch videos, and watch videos, in case you're wondering what that is, that's when you go into Facebook, you watch one video and then immediately another video comes after it. It's kind of like a recommended playlist of videos, a bit like YouTube when you go in there. Well, we have that experience called Facebook Watch, and it's definitely come of age. It's a big brand building channel now, not just a place where you just entertain yourself for a couple of minutes. It's something which we tend to spend a lot of time in. There is a bit of a difference in the way that we view brands and the way that we view products now, is that we have this idea in our heads that if it's being personalized to us, if it's something that's highly relevant to us, then we regard it as premium. We regard it as a lot more premium than something that isn't specifically targeted towards us. So if you're looking at something which is, I might be looking at something which is jewelry. Now, I don't wear jewelry. The closest thing I wear to jewelry is my smart fitness tracker thing, tracks my steps every day. That's the closest I come. But when I see ads for jewelry, they totally miss the mark. Now, thankfully, I don't really see those kind of ads. What I see is ads for software, conferences, online learning, different online tools, people and coaches, things like that. Things that I'm very, very interested in and have previously showed a lot of interest in, which makes me think that any of those ads that are coming through must be pretty darn good, because they are made very much for my tastes, rather than something like jewelry, which is not made for my taste. And it could be a very expensive jewelry collection, but to me, it doesn't feel premium because it's not really relevant to who I am and what I do. Personalized equals medium, and relevance, which is how you make things personalized on all social media channels, is really the number one most important reason why consumers decide to watch a video at all. So if you're putting a video out there, bear that in mind, that when it comes to being something which is relevant to the people you're trying to reach, that video really has to speak to them. It really has to be something they're interested in. Just doing a product launch, just doing a something which is you think is really cool for you to promote isn't quite enough these days. Only the most extraordinary things stand out, unless you're doing them as ads, and then they seem to come through on people's feeds. Relevance is also the number one attribute for video to be considered premium as well. I've got a whole bunch of references down there across different markets in the world, anyone from the UK and US through to France, India, Germany, Canada, Britain, and Australia. So there's lots of different places where that's really being dragged in from. And also the number one factor for engaging with an ad. So relevance is the number one reason why someone will like, share, comment, continue to watch, rewatch it over the length or the production quality or the service that's being offered. Now, just think about that, right? Relevance is far more important than the production quality of that video. So you can spend thousands of dollars putting together a video, but unless it's relevant to the person who's going to see it, you will have wasted all those thousands of dollars, because quite simply, it's not relevant to the person who's watching it. That's the number one reason why people will watch, why they'll consider your video to be premium, and while they engage with your ad or your organic posts that you're putting on Facebook or on Instagram, is that they find it to be relevant. It's so important to take in. In the third instance, we're looking at customers using business messaging. So the three big ones we've got is video, We've got the use of e-commerce on these platforms. Now we're also using the customers are using business messaging to get in touch with businesses, and we'll have a look at how that sort of plays out in the realistic part of our world. Now, the next generation shoppers are far more likely to use messaging apps to interact with businesses. We're talking about young adults, and these young adults, 92% of them between the ages of 18 and 34, reach out to both small and large businesses, and 37% of those will do it through messaging apps. So when you think about how many people that is, that's a whole lot of people that you can't afford to be not in touch with. When we look at those younger customers, they're the ones who are now starting to drive a lot of the purchases of what we call non-essential goods, fast-moving consumer products, all that kind of thing. So if you really want to reach out, this is how you do it. You reach out to them with very, very open messaging platforms, and that could be through Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, any of those kind of messaging services. They now expect to be able to get in touch with you. And while traditional channels are still a bit more widely used, phone and all that sort of thing, messaging apps are still on that 47% of use. So what we're saying is that people are 21% more likely to consider communicating with their business over a messaging app versus a phone call. I know, for instance, that I just don't pick up the phone unless I absolutely have to. I really don't want to use a phone call. I don't know what the barrier is to it. Maybe it's because, I grew up in a house where we always considered that anyone who was calling it was just bad news. So in that case, I'd say, well, if I want to contact a business, I generally will do it through a messaging app. I recently had decorations for a major event that I was running, and those major event was I organized the decorations through Facebook Messenger. It just turned out I didn't even know that I knew the person at the other end until she said, "Hey, it's me." But it was a really good experience because I was able to very easily get in touch with that person, very easily get the details I needed, and very easily be able to find out what the payment details needed to be as well. The top three areas I think we really need to use messaging is because it's convenient to the customer and it's quite convenient to us as well, because those things come across to us on our phones. So we've got all our messaging on our phones, not just on the desktop. So there's not that excuse that, oh, I'm away from my desk anymore. You can actually pick up those messages and respond to them straight away. It saves a lot of time, and I've got some tools in here I'm going to show you on how you can just save a whole lot of time when it comes to dealing with the messages as they're coming in. And of course, they give you a fast response time. You want that fast response time because it shows your customer that not only do you respect and care for them, but that you also have their service and reaching out to them in the way that they want to be reached out at a center of what you're going to be doing. I've got some really great tools that are going to help you to get a little bit more out of that fast response very soon, including things like away messages and the kind of messages you can send that are automatic when people ask certain questions. Now, the customer life cycle of today is all about people being able to be in touch with you. So every little one of those messaging touch points matters, not just phone calls, not just email addresses, but instant messaging as well. Now, whilst not everyone's expecting you to answer them straight away, we have the tools to be able to communicate that. It all does contribute to having a much more solid relationship between you and your customers or your clients. And that life cycle where people begin to research products and services, where they build the relationship through the interactions they're having with you on Messenger, and then finally come to that customer care after they've made the purchase. All three of those stages are well served by messaging, whether it's WhatsApp, Messenger, SMS. You can use Signal or Telegram or whatever it is you're going to use for your messaging services. Make sure you have at least something. Even Google Business Profiles these days have a really good messaging service that works in with your Google Business Profile app on your phone. So using those tools helps you to be much more relevant and much more reachable by your customers. Now, a lot of people go, well, I don't want people calling me up all day and all night and messaging me all day and all night. I want to be able to sort of draw a line between work and home, and you can do that. There are availability hours that are going to show you very shortly that will help to make that a little bit more of a delineation between all your work and all your home. We've found that over 6 in 10 of those who message with businesses, they do so at every single phase of those journeys. So we're talking about the research phase. 74% of people have contacted businesses or for product or service research through chat channels. 63% have contacted businesses for purchase inquiries when they're just about to make that purchase, or they want to know how they can make that purchase. And then the customer care side of it jumps up to 73% again, because not all of us have, age 3 hours to be sitting on the phone. I know some of the wait times I've seen to get through to airlines lately have just been phenomenal. If you can reach someone by a chat message, it will be so much more efficient than if you have to wait 3 hours in a queue on a phone to a call center, when it's just, and then you get cut off just before you get answered as well. Consumers pretty much feel that messaging apps, they offer a much more convenient and efficient way to communicate with businesses, and that's certainly been the case with me. I've definitely found that more and more and more I keep being in touch with people because I want to I want to be able to make sure that everything I've written down is there and sitting in their inbox. Whether or not they can answer straight away, I know that I've explained myself more clearly in words than getting all muddled up with my words on a phone, especially after 45 to 50 minutes sitting in a queue and getting angry. I'm not going to be angry over an instant message. I might be very, very angry over a long phone call wait, though. The new generation, the 18 to 24 and up to 33, shoppers are very much expecting to communicate by these messaging channels, and a lack of awareness that these channels really can be used is probably one of the biggest challenges for businesses to take up these different tools. I know that there's a thought that you don't want to be I don't like social media, I don't want to be so social media, but your clients generally are on there, and your customers are generally finding you and comparing shopping you and all sorts of things on messaging and social media channels as well. So let's have a look at how some of these things will work in practice. So we'll start off with, first of all, engaging with your customers through Messenger. So how do you do that? We're going to look at helping you to build your video strategy on Reels, which is going to be a bit of fun to look at how the Reels are working, and then staying resilient with your business suite. Now, I think the business suite is an important tool that people don't really use to their full ability. Now, when you engage with customers through conversation on Messenger, you're engaging with people at the point of purchase, at the point of research, at the point of customer service as well. And the important thing here is that you can personalize your responses. You don't have to be a robot. I know the robot thing is one of the things we hate the most about when we're dealing on chat channels. So you can learn a bit more about your customers through these as well. So let's say it's an example of who our customers may be. We've got Catherine Chen here. What we can learn about her is that she loves indoor plants and wants to know if we deliver. So yeah, we do deliver plants within 20 miles of the store. We've just learned now through her saying wonderful that she lives probably within 20 miles of the store. So we know that she's probably a customer that we will deal with at some point. It also allows us to be responsive. So we're not just learning about people as we're going, we're giving them some greetings. And greetings can provide a really friendly welcome to people who are now connecting with you through Messenger and informing those people on how to interact with your business before they actually send their first message for you. That's a pretty cool thing. We're not just saying just messages, we're saying, oh, this is how you message us. Now, some people may message your business expecting to get answers to questions you might not be able to address via messaging. And if you respond to about 90% of those messages within 15 minutes, you'll earn a very responsive to messages badge on your business page. And you've probably seen that on a few business pages. So you want to get that badge because it tells people that you do care enough about your customers to ensure that they are able to come to you via these channels and potentially get their problems solved. That responsive to messages badge is really it's like a signal that's being sent out to the customer that you are not just alive and well, but you're very responsive, and that's what you want to ultimately have. Now, please bear in mind, I've just got a massive cracking thunderstorm about to come in over here. So hopefully nothing goes dead in terms of internet connection and lights, and we stay on and happily broadcasting. It's one of the offsites to trying to do this in the afternoon on a wet season in Darwin. So you can welcome your customers with a greeting. So to do that, you go into Business Suite, so into your messages within Business Suite, and then we go into settings down the bottom, and then you select messaging, and toggle showing a messenger greeting to on. So this one's turned to on under starting a message conversation. Then you click change, which will enable you to edit the greeting. So in here, when you've edited the greeting and what you want to say with it, you click save, and then that takes you back to where you are in your inbox area of Business Suite. Now, you can also respond instantly with what we call saved replies. This is your ability to be able to send back things that, things that you type in over and over and over again, the same questions that people ask quite a lot. You can have a bunch of these saved replies in a bit of a bucket of different saved replies and use them to very easily do that. So to set up a save replies on your page, go to your inbox and click the insert saved reply icon. This shows you replies that you currently have saved, and also gives you the option to create a new one. So if you create a new save reply, you can also then personalize it. So you can add in, not just things like, what the reply is going to be, but also things like the first name of the recipient. So you can have them as automatically replying with the first name of the person you're talking to, and also a photo of yourself. So you can say, you're not just saying, here I'm Dave from customer support. You go, hey, here I am, I'm actually Dave from customer support. So it can be a really nice way to feel like a human. I know a lot of people feel a bit weird when they're doing these things. They feel like there's not a human on the other end, it's just another bot. And this is a way you can show that, yeah, I'm actually a real person. Now if you create that new save reply, personalize it, add the first name, the recipient, the photo, and when you receive a message, those saved replies, so it's about to create one here. Here's an example, right? Hello, first name and recipient. Our indoor plants are perfect for your sweet home. We can have a photo of ourselves, or maybe you might want to say, here's a photo of a product you might be interested in. So the ability to put in some personalization tools as well as having a photo of a product in there makes it a much more immersive experience, and a lot more interesting as well, because you've got not just theory about what your product is, but you've actually got a picture of it. And it's really handy for sharing things like directions, for sharing a picture of the front of your store so people can see it when they're coming to, all sorts of things you can use for photos in those particular save replies. So once you've got that save reply put together, you've added your personalization, your photo, your words, then click save. You've got about 1,000 characters you can use in each of those save replies. So you can do fairly long ones, not just stupid ones though. And this is kind of what it looks like when you've got your save replies. There's one there, but if you had more, you'd have then a list of them running down in that white area there. So it gives you a whole lot of options. And here's kind of what it looks like too on the mobile phone. So it's also something you can do on the mobile. You don't have to just do it in the desktop arena either. Setting expectations about how responsive you can be for your clients is obviously going to be something which is important, so that you can stop people from getting angry when they don't see their things answered straight away. All of us need sleep. All of us need a rest. But what we also need to understand is we're working in a 24/7 customer lifestyle these days, life cycle these days. And people used to be able to call a call center at any time of the day or night, even if it's at 3 a.m., and get through to a hotel call center, through to an airline call center, a telecom call center. It doesn't matter who they are calling, they're expecting to get through to someone. So when they come to, say, your messenger and your page, then they're going to expect that they get some kind of response, even if it's something that's in a status to away. So if you can set off your status to away, this is where you can make sure that people know that you have certain hours, and then you set the expectation you'll be getting back to them at, say, maybe 8:39, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. This means that you are also then keeping within your 90% of responses within 15 minutes target. So even an automated response like this keeps you in that 90% of messages within 15 minutes target. So you still get the very responsive badge on your page. So it's not going to ruin it, because it does respond straight away. So being responsive as you can does help you to build those relationships with your customers, but they've also got to understand that you need to sleep as well. Sometimes you need a break. So one of the benefits of these away messages, it can help you to maintain that responsiveness score when you're unable to send a personal message right away. So to set up an away message, you go to your inbox within Business Suite, and you click this, automated responses, and then you set your away message, currently set to off. You can edit it then and turn that on. So once it's turned on, you can set things like the times that you're away and you're asleep. So you may want to, in this case, they are not open till 9 and they finish at 7 p.m. I think it is. No, 7, 8, 9 p.m. So they go 9 to 9. So they're open up for a certain amount of days. You can sort of select which particular days you might want to go, I'm not open on Saturdays or Sundays. So you completely black those out. So every time there's this red area, that means that they're going to receive that away message, and then they're going to be knowing that, oh yeah, I can't talk to them right now. I'll need to come back at another time. and then just customize whatever that away message is. You could be as long or as short as you want. I'd be short with it, but set an expectation and say, hey, we'll come back to you at after 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's that timings you can set. And then once you've got it, then you go save, and you're able to then have a live away message running. Now, some of the best practices when it comes to using your away messages and your greetings is you write a welcome greeting. It's always a nice place to enter, and it means that people feel like there's a place where they can approach you easily and simply, and not sort of go scratching around looking for a place to go and talk to you. You can also set your expectations with those instant replies so that people can find out when it is you're available, when you're not available, and when they might expect to hear from you in the next day. And those away messages are great for if you can't be there, and remembering that they'll keep your response rate nice and high, because any response, whether it's a bot response or whether it's you live responding, will be counted as a response. And I'd say too, in the best practice, write the way you speak. Don't suddenly become super, ridiculously, weirdly formal when you're talking to people that you normally wouldn't talk that way. It just becomes really weird for the people who are talking with you, and it just becomes really strange to the people who are used to hearing you be a certain way. Just going to quickly change our microphone because we've got some stuff coming up that I need to actually play through the computer and he's out just soon. So I want to make sure I get that right for you. So yeah, definitely be yourself. Being yourself means that you're able to, set an expectation of how you are to deal with, so people can get to know who you are rather than getting to know some sort of auto bot that's just running, very fake. And I don't think any of us really like the fake thing, do we? We want to be respected and served friendly, but we don't want something just jumping all over us with super bubbliness. Kind of like if anyone's ever been to Disneyland, experience, because everyone's so bubbly and everyone's so over friendly and over the top, you feel really weird. For me, it just gives me the ick, and I just want to go, oh, can't you be real people? Just realizing everybody is trying to be in a Disney movie. So now we're going to take a quick look at Reels, because they're hardly something you don't know about, because it's certainly the center of everything on Instagram these days, and they're certainly something which you equate with being like TikTok. But Reels are more than just people dancing. They're also people who are able to showcase their brand, showcase their message, showcase everything from social movements through to products and services as well. So let's take a look at Reels. Reels is not that new anymore, but it gives you pretty much anyone the ability to create really cool, entertaining short form videos. The stage to be discovered a lot more easily as well. So people who are trying hard to be discovered, I'm just having some issues with my microphone jumping around all over the place. Sorry about that. Let's just go back to here. Okay, we're back again. So when we're trying to reach more people beyond just the people who are following us, this is what Reels is really, really good at. It's good at getting past people and sharing it with the very vibrant community that's on there.
Look at him. Yeah, not fake. Alley-oop. Look at him. Totally real.
So we're starting to see a lot of these stop motion and cutting between one thing and another, and it's a way for, I guess, for us to make much more engaging and attractive videos that have a lot of movement in them, and engages people with the interests that they have through the form of entertainment. And this is where the whole idea of creator media splits from what we know as social networking. Social networking is you, your mum, your dad, your sisters, your friends that you went to high school with, coming together and chatting about things and being friends, people who you know, who you love, who you trust, as opposed to creator media, which is watching really entertaining stuff. So that's your TikToks, your Reels, your YouTubes are less about connecting with people you know, and more about watching really interesting stuff that you may want to learn from, you may want to be inspired by, or you just want to laugh along to because it's just, pretty funny. So Reels, think about it as less about you showing everybody who you are and what your product is, and being a lot more attracted towards what the benefits of that product are. So you can see here that this particular person's using Sephora-based cosmetics products and skincare products and showing you how to use those and in what combinations. So you know, see how it's not a perfect video. She's not the perfect person. She's certainly not a supermodel. She's absolutely gorgeous, but she's not a supermodel. She's just an everyday person who uses cosmetics from Sephora. For us, it might be from Mecca Cosmetics, any of that kind of thing, that you'll be able to see real people trying on real makeup and seeing how it works for them. And you can see if it works for them, it might work for you. It helps you to get discovered because Reels is the best place on both Instagram and Facebook, where you actually go, your material that you make in Reels on Facebook and Instagram goes way beyond the people who just follow you. You may have noticed, if you've been producing Reels in the last year, that it reaches a lot more people than what your normal business posts do, right? So that's because Reels are inherently much more entertaining. They're also, there's lots of people consuming them and not as many people making them. So it's not as busy as, say, the feed on Facebook or, you know, the feed on Instagram, where you may be following 6,000 different people and things just don't really get through to you, or your things don't really get through to other people. This is the way to break through that. And even if you got 10 to 20% more views on what you're trying to put out there because you use Reels, that 10 to 20% more is a really valuable 10 to 20%, because those are the people who don't necessarily know who your brand is, but they're very, very interested in what you're actually providing and what you're offering as part of your brand. It allows you to be a bit more of a flex too, because you compared to other platforms, people who've been surveyed have told us that Instagram is the top place to keep up with their favorite brands. Now, of course, there's other platforms that are doing a lot of this as well, but I'd have to say that, you know, it's still that place where people go to connect with things. We always learned, you know, we felt like businesses were kind of invading our space on Facebook, because Facebook was a place for friends, a place for family, a place for chatting, a place for connection, not so much a place to be flexing. But when it comes to Instagram, because of its very visual nature, because it was always about beautiful photos and great videos, then we've found that people are a lot more, not just forgiving, but they actually expect content from brands on there. They want to know what the different brands are going to produce for them. They want to know what different brands are going to, you know, show them and bring into their lives to show that there's things that they can buy that make their life better. And this is where, you know, you can show up a lot of personality by drawing yourself into the world of Reels and that world of discoverability that people have. And you also notice too that this is not, you know, this is not YouTube style video. This is not the 16:9 ratio. It's a 9:16. It's like the phone turned on its side. So you've got that ability to do full body length stuff. You've got the ability to be doing very high and low shots, shots from the bottom, shots from like the top. You get that length of shot, and it's very, very dramatic when used the right way. So you can leverage that full mobile screen to tell your story, rather than just being another square with another square above you and another square below you, taking away the attention from what you're doing. When it lands on your reel, you own that screen. Even if it's just for half a second, you still own that screen and have the opportunity to be able to get a lot more out of it. So I've got a few local heroes in Australia I want to show you. Peggy and Twig. They are a business that Emily from Peggy and Twig has used Reels as a behind the scenes experience, giving customers an insight into how the business is run. They don't have to be perfect. In fact, these ones from Peggy and Twig are not. They're all about just showcasing the boxing and unboxing experience. So I know a lot of people love to watch the unboxing of jewels and pearls and clothing. This one's where they have actually given the ability to be able to do the boxing experience. So you can see what it's going to expect when it turns up at your store or turns up at your home. It doesn't have to be perfect. So this isn't perfect, but it's just beautifully done. It does look really nice. And then another one here is Mobico Australia. So this is someone who works in wellness products, selling sustainable and biodegradable equipment for yoga and Pilates and body conditioning. They use Reels to create how-to clips that inspire their customers to use those products in a particular way for particular health and well-being needs. So they can see, okay, if you're going to use this particular one, this is how you might work with lower back pain. I think this is a really clever way of doing product demos. So you can show people exactly how to use the products you're selling in a clear, and this is really hilarious because the dog is there, right? So if you just see that, at some point the dog just walks across and completely gets in the way, steals the show, and it's hilarious. You're going to remember this. You're going to feel good about this because that's what it's like in real life. And Mobico, she sold a lot of stuff over the pandemic naturally for people who needed to exercise at home and get some really good, but she doesn't go just for, you know, blocks of plastic. This is sustainable and biodegradable stuff. So it's not just stuff which you're going to throw in the garbage garbage in 3 years' time, and it's just going to hang around for thousands of years. This is biodegradable. So she's really taken that sustainability and well-being thing and smashed them together into a really good concept that she's able to then share in these really short reels. Like, this is a really short reel. It's no more than 5 seconds long, but it tells such a story in there and lets you know exactly what that product is and how it can work for you. Now we're going to take a quick look at, well, probably not as quick a look as I'd like, at Meta Business Suite. Now, Business Suite has changed a little bit since these slides were put together by the team in Sydney, but you can get Meta Business Suite as both the online, on the web version, and you can get the version for Android and iOS as well. So the apps on your phones. The apps don't do quite as much stuff as what the desktop one does. And naturally, with a bigger screen, you see a lot more details, particularly in the insights, but it does give you somewhere to look at all your activity between Facebook, Instagram, Messenger in this all-in-one place. And that's really important when you're busy and you don't have time to be going to this platform and that platform and going over that platform. You know, we very much listened, and people were telling us that, like, I can't just be jumping between Facebook and Instagram all the time. Please give me one place to do all that. And it certainly has delivered. And it's become probably one of the more popular parts of the Facebook family of apps, simply because it gives you so much time saving, and it helps you to keep up with both your Facebook posts, your Instagram posts, your Facebook comments, your Instagram comments as well, and the things that people are sending to your page inbox, both your direct messages from Instagram and your direct messages on your Facebook page as well. And you're able to preview what your posts are going to look like when you start setting them up. So let's say, for instance, we're doing a new post for Little Lemon. We will be able to write in what it is. We'll be able to put up our piece of creative, whether it's video or photos. You can add multiple photos as well, and it'll show you roughly what it's going to look like before you post it. So that post, you know, is going to look the way you want it to look, in the way you want it to look. And you can also then select whether you're going to send it to both Facebook and Instagram, or just one or the other. You can also then customize what you're sending it to. So you can send one message out to Instagram at the same time as you're sending another message out to Facebook without you having to go and do two very separate posts. You just do it within this one post, and then it says, oh yeah, you want that one to Facebook, that one to Instagram. You can also schedule your posts for later. So this is the scheduler you've really been looking for. It's where the publishing tools have now gone when it comes to your Facebook page. And it also allows you to do that for Instagram as well. It also allows you to do stories. So it's not just posts now. So in amongst all this, we can see where you can schedule your posts, you can even set a boost from right within here as well. You can add the caption, you can tag people, add some feelings like some emojis, that sort of thing. So you can then get a lot more things in advance rather than having to do everything all at once and in the moment. So you can try it out by scheduling a post with a Meta Business Suite app. So you just get the app open, go to the page that you want to use. So it's usually through, in this case, Lucky Shrub for both their Facebook page and their Instagram account. And before you start, make sure you actually have the Business Suite app, because this doesn't work as well on mobile without it being in the app. And to start scheduling a post, click on Publish, which is the plus sign. And then you get to write your caption and add a video or a photo, and then schedule a time for the post to publish. So you can either be now, or you can click on that and set that for later as well. So you don't have to publish it all at the same time. In this case, being scheduled for later, Monday, December 22nd at 12 p.m. And that will appear then. You can also set separate publishing times and dates between Facebook and Instagram if you want to stagger those out a little bit, or if you found that your customers tend to be on Facebook at 6:30 p.m. but they tend to be on Instagram at 10:30 a.m. You can separate how those go as well. So you just toggle between Facebook and Instagram here on the screen, where you'll be able to see how you select those. There is usually a worksheet for this, so my apologies, I haven't been able to send this out to everybody, but I'll see if I can get copies of it and maybe bundle those up for those who are interested. But the key takeaways from Business Suite is you can use posts, you can do stories, and you can do all your live videos as well there that help you to increase the awareness of your business's offerings. So it gives you a chance to really use the tools that are really best for business. Those posts, those stories, those live videos, even now Reels can be scheduled from Facebook as well. So they're not going to schedule into Instagram just yet, because Instagram's Reels have a few more tools, but you can do that from Creator Studio though. and posting consistently. So you can see a very like a calendar view of your different posts, and you can look ahead and see where your gaps are and where you might want to fill something in. But posting consistently makes your business so much more recognizable because you're showing your customers and the people who are coming into your page at various times. And even though it might seem like reach is really poor from Facebook pages at the moment and Instagram posts at the moment, just remember these are places where people get referred to you. So if you're talking in groups, if people are talking about you in groups, they're going to refer to your page before they're going to refer to your website. And for many of you, you don't even have a website. So your Facebook page automatically sort of it sort of acts as your website. So this is a place where people refer to you. So try and think of it in those terms, that you don't necessarily have to go viral with everything you do, because let's face it, very few people ever do. What you want though is someone to be feeling reassured, safe, comfortable, and willing to trust you and even like you because they can see a few things on your page that immediately make them feel better about dealing with you. And then you can use the Business Suite to help you to save time by scheduling those posts ahead. So if you find that you are really good on Sunday afternoons and very creative, I tend to be when I do mine is Sunday afternoons because I feel really creative. I feel rested. I'm starting to get back in my work mode for Monday. So Sunday afternoons, a great time for me to schedule a week's worth of social media in advance. This week I'm a little bit behind, so we'll see how we go with that. Now you can pick up all the learning you need to on this platform simply by going along to the Meta Blueprint. So meta.com/blueprints, the old Facebook blueprint. It's got a ton of free tools and free lessons to do absolutely everything when it comes to working with Facebook or Instagram or Messenger or WhatsApp in the context of business. And you're going to find tools in there that allow you to connect as a WhatsApp for business as well, which is becoming increasingly important given the multicultural nature of Australia. We're starting to find so many people using WhatsApp. Half of the interactions I have every day now are on WhatsApp, not Facebook Messenger. So that's a sense of the growth of that particular product. So get involved in those things, learn more about it at the Meta Blueprint so you can find out more. You can also join a group where I'm one of the moderators on behalf of Meta Australia, which is called Meta Boost Australia. It's specifically made for small businesses in Australia and not-for-profits. So if you want to be able to sort of ask questions, get some help with things, get some advice when things go wrong, or just to kind of find out some of the ideas that people are using to grow their businesses, getting into the Meta Boost Australia group will certainly help you with that. I'm in there. I'll see the questions as they come up. And then the rest of the team there's 5 of us here in Australia. There's myself, there's Lisa from Queensland, Dan from Northern New South Wales, Melissa from Central Queensland and Moranbah, and then there's Heather in Sydney as well. So we're all there to help you out. And also the team from Facebook in Sydney and in Singapore is always watching to make sure that you actually get your questions answered to the best that they can possibly do as well. Not just for problems, also for ideas. Just pop in there, join that group. Of course, all those things are free. So thank you so much for, I guess, coming in and seeing what this particular webinar was all about. I'd like to open up now to our Zoom guests to ask any questions through the Q&A service. So I'm just going to quickly get myself in front of somewhere where I can see those questions coming in and see if there's a bunch of questions that's already been asked. It looks like everyone's being really quiet today. So if you are able to ask messages, please just drop it into the chat window or into, we've just got the chat window there. So please throw some questions if you have them. I'll preempt a few questions in here, such as things like how do you get more reach on your posts? And that's probably one of the first questions I always get asked. How you get more reach on posts for Facebook and Instagram is you quite frankly have to be extraordinary or you have to boost. Now, extraordinary posts can reach a whole lot of people simply because they're timely. They're really relevant to what your customers are like. They're really relevant to the time that we've got right here and now. So that to some news or something like that. And then you're able to, hopefully then get beyond what that is. But you can't just do it once and expect it's going to work. You have to do it again and again and again until you find the right combination of things that happen to work for you. So you can watch your insights through your Facebook page and your Instagram account, and also look at the suggestions for optimal times that Facebook is showing you when to post in Business Suite, because it'll tell you, in my case, 6:30 p.m. at night, every single day of the week except the weekends. Excuse me, where it wants earlier mornings. So really, really interesting. Just being asked now, and get recorded copies of the webinar. If you registered on this, I'll send you a recorded copy to everybody who attended on the Zoom call. And I'll also be putting this onto YouTube a little bit later on as well. So thanks for that, Faye. Narelle missed the part. You have to watch it again later. Yes, absolutely. Now we've got a question there from Matsol Art, asking, can you please explain the differences from using Facebook and Instagram? The main difference between using Facebook and Instagram is that Instagram is very simple. It's very simple. You post pictures, you post videos, and you look at things coming back. And it's to do with the people who are on Instagram as opposed to the people on Facebook. Facebook is more about reaching out to people you already know or are already connected to you. There's very little chances to reach beyond that other than in groups. You can use groups to get a bit further, and you can also use reels to reach people a little bit further. But generally what you're reaching is people who just follow you. Instagram has this ability, because of the hashtag reach, that you can then find your stuff showing up to people all over the world. Now, that may not be good for you if you've got a service which you only deal with in Australia or within a local area, but it may be great for you if you're in a position where you are trying to reach a more global audience. So hopefully that gives you a bit of a difference. Facebook has more features. Instagram is far more simple, a lot easier to use, I suppose, for those who don't really want to spend a lot of different ones. Matt is also asking why you would use Facebook or why would you use Instagram? I think I kind of answered that. If I was wanting to reach just a smaller group of people who are very, very hyper selected for who I want to reach, then I probably use Facebook more than Instagram. But if I wanted to reach more global, an audience of people beyond where I go, then I probably would look at using Instagram, because that's where I'm more likely to get a more global lot of people. How many changes, Maggie, how many changes to the Meta Suite do you envisage for the future? Google had over 4,000 changes to its algorithm in 2021. It is hard to keep up, but there's certain things that are the principles that never fail you. And these are things: be relevant. Stop trying to sell something to everybody who comes in, and treat people as being at a different part of your sales funnel, at a different part of their journey towards you. Not everyone's ready to buy. And if you come with lots of messages about buy this, buy this, buy this, you're going to have people just go, no. I guess then what you do then was probably look at something which, over 3 different posts. Let's say you're doing 3 posts a week. If you do 3 posts a week, one post would be very much about people who don't know who you are and they're just being introduced to you. The next post will be something which is for someone who is looking like they're getting ready to make a decision on who they're going to use for that particular product or service you do. And it really appeals to them. It educates them with more information about not just the product, but why they should use you. Finally, that end product where someone's ready to buy and they're really like raring to go and make that decision right then and there, have something which gives them like an unbeatable reason why. It could be that one killer feature that you have. It could be a discount coupon. It could be, some feature that you have that others don't tend to have. That could be then that third one. So just remember that people are at very different stages of the purchase life cycle when they come to your page, to your products, to your services, to your posts, or to your ads. So don't just have one ad that just goes out, or one post that's just going, buy my stuff. Just consider that people, like, think about when you are at different stages, when you're researching, when you're in the process of purchasing and negotiating, and when you've got customer care as well. Also, don't ignore that customer care, and make sure you answer everybody's comments and answer everybody's messages. It might get a bit busy after a while, but if you're getting that busy, that might be a good problem to have, because it's about time you probably hired a social media manager to give you a little bit of a hand with that. Matt says, come back with, explain the difference. I've already done that between Facebook and Instagram. Already explained why using Facebook or why using Instagram. Using Facebook ads to reach more people. Well, that's the pay to play environment that social media has become. What you find is there's big differences between different platforms because of how many people are on them and how busy those platforms are and how many people are actually posting to them. I do quite often a series of things on LinkedIn, and one of the things we always put across is that on Facebook, you've got, about 2-3 billion people on that particular platform, and about 70% of those people are posting to it. So the vast majority of people are in that position where they're posting to the feed, and it makes the feed really busy. It's hard to compete for space there. You go to something like Instagram, it's more like about 47%, so it's a lot less people are posting. So that feed's not quite as busy as the Facebook one. But once you get get onto platforms like LinkedIn, you got less than 7% of people have ever posted at all, and less than 1% post on a weekly or monthly basis. That's pretty scary. That's like meaning that there's very few people posting in comparison to the people who are consuming those posts. Over on TikTok, it's very, very similar. Less than 5% of people on TikTok are posting on TikTok. So it's easy to get reach simply because there's lots of people consuming, but not that many people really that are trying to produce new material, which is why you probably go into TikTok and Reels and you quite often see the same stuff over and over again, is because there's only so much material on there. For you as a business owner, that's a really big opportunity. It means you can go to the platforms that don't have as much noise going on them. So things like Reels, for instance, as part of Facebook and Instagram, lots of audience, not that many people going. Stories is certainly a lot less busy than the feed on Facebook and Instagram. So there's an opportunity to reach more of your followers through there as well. So just by having a think of how people use these things and what your message can be that's really relevant to those people, use those pieces of the pie that are most useful to you, because it's not always just because the algorithm favors one thing and not another. Most of the time, it's just because there's lots of people consuming on one part of the Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or LinkedIn or YouTube, and there may not be very many people posting to it. So there's a big opportunity to use that. We're looking at should you use both Instagram and Facebook, or put all your energy into just one of those? Well, with Business Suite these days, you don't have to split up your energy. You can do it all in the one place. So I just do both because all of your messages, your comments are all going to come back in through Business Suite anyway. So I'd say if you're doing it for one, do it for both in Business Suite. Just leverage the fact that you've got so many opportunities to do that. You're welcome, Maggie, for the recap of the sales funnel and the types of posts. Kato is asking how often you should post on Insta, and does this include stories and posts? How often you post is up to the people who are following you. If you are posting 3 times a week and you're finding it's getting a little bit slow, and then you post a 4th time and it kind of picks up, well, then post 4 times. It's all about experimenting. So you've got to find the right cadence for your people. It depends on the kind of posts you're making too. If you're making posts that are very sales oriented, they get very, very fatiguing very quickly. So you may find that only 1 post a week would be for you. But if you're doing that nurturing stuff where you're educating people, you're offering assistance, you're giving people free advice over your posts, then you can probably post that little bit more. It's just a matter of what you're posting and how people can work that out. Faye's asking how you find a good social media manager. Oh yeah, so that's a question a lot of us would like to know. How do you find a good social media manager? What price range you'll be looking at? That's like how long is a piece of string. It's not like there's an award wage for social media managers. What I would be looking for is when it comes to social media managers, what their process is. So their process is just simply, I'm going to post 39 posts for you every quarter. That's 3 posts a week over 13 weeks. And all I do is post them. I don't look at them. Well, that's not really a social media manager. That's a social media scheduler. But then if you're using, if you're talking about someone who's going to, completely manage your social media, then you're looking at someone who's, you imagine how much time to take you. It'd take them just slightly less time than you. So you're essentially buying someone for something like a part-time job, depending on how busy you happen to be. So think of it in hours. How many hours a week do they have to spend? And do they have to be on there every day? If they have to be on there every day, it's going to get more expensive because they need to spend more time doing it. How many tasks do you want them to do apart from just posting? Do you want them to analyze your insights and find out what the best things are to do? That's going to get harder. I would usually say, I recommend that people look for a Meta certified digital marketing associate, and people will advertise that on their services if they have that. It's one of the simplest certifications to get from Meta that really allows you to be proving that you know how to use social media for business. If they don't have that, doesn't mean they're not a good social media manager, but that particular certification process means that they really do know their stuff. So have a look for that maybe. If you can't find that, then you're just going to look for examples of the work they do. And so you get a bit of an idea about the kind of things they're actually able to say. And in the posting of how many times you post a week, I guess it's really, again, it's really up to how much your people would really put up with you posting. So the channels to use, Facebook or Instagram or both. What about Twitter? Look, I use everything. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Medium, Mastodon, Be Real. I'm on YouTube. I think I already said that. Maybe TikTok. I'm on everything because I work in social media. media, so I need to be on everything. But you probably need to find the thing that where your people are going to be. If you're selling things that really don't appeal to people who are fast moving, young people who are into very entertaining posts, but you want people to be able to read more into what you are doing so they can learn more about the subtleties and the interactions that you have, then maybe like short format video is not your thing. Maybe something a little longer format. Are you selling to business owners? Then LinkedIn may be your place. But if you're selling to consumers, Instagram could be where you're going. What you've got to do is work out who's on those channels and just do a lot of research, reading about it, seeing who's on those channels, particularly within Australia. See how others who are doing what you do are performing on those channels. And that'll give you a pretty good idea of whether there's a place for you on that channel or not. Now you can, yes, you can create reels for both Instagram and for Facebook. So in Facebook, if you go through, if you go to put a reel in, basically all videos these days are reels on Facebook or Instagram. So whether you create a video, any kind of video becomes a reel on Facebook or Instagram, particularly if it's vertical. So it's vertical video that's taken this way up on your mobile phone. That's going to be a reel. It's going to automatically be turned into a reel on Facebook and to Instagram. The best times to post in Australia for Instagram and Facebook, usually Facebook will tell you that it's going to be around about that sort of 6 to 7:30 p.m. at night. So the dinner time through to maybe the prime time TV time. For me, that's certainly a mixed bag. Sunday nights are very good for me, but that's not always the case for me, and it's not the case on every single channel. So for Facebook, that might be true, but it may not be true for Instagram. It may not be true for LinkedIn. It may not be true for TikTok or the others. So you've got to really go, okay, look at in your insights for each of those channels. So it doesn't matter which one it is, which insights it is. That'll tell you when most people appear to be online. And that certification you're doing is the one that's called the Digital Marketing Associate certification. If they're doing ads, then the professional professional media buyer or professional media planner are the ones that you probably want to see them have. So I got the media planner, not the buyer, which they're pretty much the same thing, but one's just more about calculating maths and the other one's more about planning for the campaigns and how to adjust them. A reel in Facebook is the same as a story. I've just never seen a reel in Facebook, just stories. If you've seen videos on Facebook, that's pretty much a vertical video. That's a reel on Facebook. So that's that. If you just load up a vertical video from your phone into Facebook, that will now be called a reel. Also, one little thing I'll add in there too, that's a new feature that's just come through in the last few weeks, is when you're on Instagram and you're posting a photo, you may have noticed now it's asking you if you want to add music to it. And one of those reasons is that once you add music, that becomes searchable by the song, but also it becomes a reel. So it's going to get that far broader reach than what you would have had if you were just posting a singular photo. You don't have to add any music to that photo. You can just leave the photo as it is if you prefer to. But adding music gives you a little bit extra, lets it go a little bit further. Even if it's only 10 to 20% more reach than what you're getting before, that's still a good result. That's 10 to 20% more people who are going to see your stuff. And that's ultimately what you're there for, is for people to see your stuff. Wow, that was a flurry of questions. So thank you so much to everyone on Zoom who's added those. We've still got a few minutes to go where you can add that in. Creator Studio on Facebook and Meta Business Suite. It's another thing of difference. Creator Studio is much more geared towards people who are creators and influencers. It's got some tools in there that are to do with your monetization of your video material. So if you've got a following of 50,000 people and you're producing videos for them each day, those videos become monetizable. So Facebook pays you for those videos based upon how many people are viewing them and how much ad money they can make out of posting ads in your particular kinds of video. So that's what Creator Studio is. It has many of the same things in it as the Meta Business Suite. Business Suite's more about small business, going in there and be able to see your insights, your posting calendar, your ability to post, your messages, and all your business tools are all in that one place, where Creator Studio is more about probably influencers who are looking to collaborate with other people, looking to collaborate with other brands. It's also a good place to be going live from as well. It'll give you just that little bit more creator tools, I suppose. I've got someone just entering the waiting room now, so we're just about to finish this call. So thank you so much to all of you who did join this afternoon. This has been a fantastic opportunity to share some of the features and benefits that are there with Facebook and Instagram Messenger as well. The business suite link is business.facebook.com. So I'll just write that in there, business.facebook.com. Now, if you've already, if that comes up with you and doesn't give you those tools, it will give you the instructions of how to set them up. But in just about every case, if you've got a page, you're going to have Business Suite already there. So please enjoy that. Please pop into that group. That group was called Meta Boost AU. So MetaBoost AU, which is on a Facebook group, please go and join that because I'd love to see a bunch of people in there, I guess, asking questions like you're asking me now, or the things that you didn't get to ask immediately, you'll be able to ask those in that group and we'll all be there to give you a hand and help you out as much as we possibly can. Have a great Entrepreneur Fest week, eFest week. There's so many more things coming up. Make sure you get along to the website where all that is. So it's, let me bring it up and I'll share the screen with you where it is. So you can get in through the aealliance.au/eFest. So I'll just copy that into the chat window so you can see where that is. If you click on the big graphic once you get in there, that big graphic is going to take you through to another page where you'll be able to see the whole lineup of everything that's happening over this week. So if we look at this, we can see that today we had a bunch of things on, and it ended with mine being the last one of the day. Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, Business on a Budget, Bootstrapping in Business with Sharon Harvey, followed by Cheryl doing a thing about 50 business ideas you can start from home, and who doesn't want to work from home these days? And then going through to Selling a Service, Selling a Product from Alan Pomerang, and 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 3 ways to generate leads with digital marketing. They're working right now from Ben Futrell. All fantastic people with lots of knowledge. You're amazing. So go out there and do all those things, be able to see all those things, and make sure you don't miss a chance to learn for free from some of the best minds in Australia when it comes to starting up and growing your business. Thank you so much for your company this afternoon. If I can be of any assistance, please just look me up, Dante St. James. I'm a very, very easy person to find. I'll even just type my name in there so you can copy and paste it if you want. There's not many people with a tossy name like mine. So chances are if you find someone with that name, it's going to be me. Thank you. And I'll see you in the next video that we happen to get together.